Got some obsidian out right now. This is a piece from California that I gathered last summer. It's fairly big. It's about a little over 5 pounds. And what you do with it is, if you're learning how to make primitive arrows, spearheads, knives, you get a rock and you hit on these edges and knock pieces off, just like this. And this is the beginning of how you make arrowheads, spearheads, knives. Here's a couple preforms I've knocked out. Triangular one right here is going to be a spear, and this round one is going to be a knife. Still got to do a little bit of work on it, but once you get this stage down, the rest is fairly easy. Here's another one. This one's going to be another spear. And here's a really long triangular one, super sharp. And some obsidian has bands through it. It could be any kind of color, honestly. I've seen even blue obsidian, but this one has gray lines through it. Here's some silver sheen obsidian. In the light, if you look it closely, it completely turns silver. It's black, and then when the light hits it, it's silver. And this one I have to put notches in, either in the bottom or the sides. Here's one of my favorite points that I make. It's just a little stem, and it has barb edges. And this was used with antler tools. Here's a little mini Clovis style I was going to make. I still haven't fluted it, but this is translucent obsidian. Here's all I used for this was a limestone hammerstone and a piece of bone, just like this. It's grinded down to a pretty fine point to get it really sharp around the edges. Alright, some of the tools that a lot of Native Americans use were just simple antlers that were sharpened to a point. Here's a bone that's tied to a madrone handle just for more support. Stuff like this for when you get down, when you're working a medium-sized spall. You could use something like this to get finer flakes off of it and longer flake scars. Just as simple as this, just holding this piece of cow bone and sharpening this until you can bust off nice little fine flakes. And for beginners, this is definitely recommended, is copper. This is just copper wire that I cut and put it into 2 pieces of wood, a shorter one and a longer one, and this longer one is called an ishi stick, and it's for getting more support, so it's easier to bust off finer, longer flakes. These are soft hammerstones, and this one's a really good one right here. It's been used all around the edges, and this one I use mostly for bigger preforms and the beginning stages of busting into Obsidian. Here's just some bones that you could bust them up with rocks, get long pieces, and then make tools out of it. Here's a big cow bone, and you could just use this if you had to bust off or to work on big pieces. But this would make a lot of tools. It's super thick and it's tough stuff. But some of the stuff I've made using those tools, here's a bone handle knife, bear grass, buckskin sheath, beads from bones, and obsidian point. Just halved it on here with pine sap glue or pine resin glue mixed in with charcoal and deer droppings, and that's a common glue that Native Americans used. Lash sinew. And this is really sharp. You can skin a whole elk, bear, or deer with this. Here's another little knife I've made. Wrapped it with dyed deer hide. And a little white-tailed deer leg bone handle. Super comfortable in the hand. Here's a toolie sheath I've made for this knife, and for glass it's the exact same technique for flint knapping obsidian, and this is just a 13-inch blade with a hazel handle. Still got the bark on it, and same methods of hafting this is all natural. Here's a couple more glass knives I made using the same techniques. Hafted the same way, but this has yucca and hide glue around it, or deer skin glue around it to support everything. You would handle Pacific yew from just a branch off of a tree. Another glass. This is just regular table glass. This one I've skinned deer with. You would handle. There was another branch protruding off this way, and I cut it off, sanded it. You can make some really nice looking knife handles with you. Or I'll be demonstrating how I make bigger blades, smaller points, and how I haft them and how I glue them on. Alright, thank you.